They say you are what you eat, so I don't eat chicken feet. But I love me some of Grandma's pickled beets. Well, cut it up, put it in the pan, throw it over your shoulder and see where it lands right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Maters, taters, beans and corn, the cows in the barn and the sheep's been shorn, kids in the barnyard chasing Grandpa's chicken. Spices, slices, cuts and dices, gonna slash your grocery prices right here in Farmer's Kitchen. Help you grow your garden good with recipes to suit your mood. Try some grub you've never tried before. Smash it with a wooden mallet, gonna educate your palate right here in Farmer's Kitchen, in Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen. We're gonna cook something good now.
Hello and welcome to the Farmer's Kitchen. Hello, Mrs. Farmer.
Hello, how are you?
We're not changing the name of the show, but you know, way back when I wrote the theme song, Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen, there was no Mrs. Farmer on the show because she didn't want to come on. Thank goodness she did. So anyhow, we're going to call this the Farmer's Kitchen. We're not changing the show, not changing the name of the show, but think about that, Farmer's Kitchen.
I like that name.
Wait a minute. Think about that. We're farmers.
That's right.
In more than one sense, and it's our kitchen.
You're so smart.
How
You really
about
are.
that?
You're smart.
All right, we're going to cook tonight because that's what we do.
Okay.
Now, these recipes can be done with other things. If you don't like to hunt and fish, we do.
Right.
That resource out there is amazing. Tonight we're going to cook some rabbit.
Yummy.
If you've never tried rabbit, or you can't find rabbit, you can do this with chicken. But rabbit is beautiful. It's wonderful, whether it's domestic or hunted.
It's delicious.
It's absolutely wonderful. Now the consistency, it can be a little tough. There's no fat on these guys.
Right.
So you have to add some things. You have to you have to cook them for a good long time. You got to make sure there's moisture there.
Right.
It'll dry out.
It's got a sweet flavor though, I think.
It does have a sweet flavor. Rabbits have been domesticated for literally thousands of years. The Romans used to have little courtyards.
Really?
Where they raised rabbits. They were that infatuated with rabbit meat. Here we've got our rabbit meat already cut up. First thing we're gonna do, we're gonna get a little bacon going.
Okay, that's me.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna get that going real hot. I just wanna get it cooked. I want mainly the fat and the salt and the flavor from this bacon.
Right.
This is uncured bacon. That means no nitrates. All right, so we're gonna get this started. And while you're doing that, Mrs. Farmer, I'm gonna get this started.
Okay.
We got our cast iron fired up tonight. We got our enameled cast iron right here. I think the basis to any good meal,
Butter.
butter.
I agree.
Butter, butter, butter. Hey, Mrs. Farmer,
Yes.
I'll stir that bacon for you, and I'm going to
Okay.
keep an eye on it. I don't want to burn my butter. I'm going to turn that down a lot. I'm just melting it.
Alrighty.
I would like to chop those shallots up, if you will.
Alrighty. You want all these?
Let's do the two big ones.
The biggest? Okay.
Put it in your little cowboy chopper made of cowboy plastic.
That's right.
Mine from the plastic mines in Montana.
That's right. I love it. I love my chopper. Ta-da! You ready for them?
Yes, let's go ahead and pop those in. Now we're going to lightly saute these, and then we're going to set them aside.
Okay.
So, not too long ago we were talking about if you had to buy a fresh fish.
Right.
For example, the striper that we catch and love to eat.
Oh, yeah.
$218
Wow.
for an 11-pound striper.
Yeah. Wow.
This resource that we have is awesome and fantastic and wonderful. Tonight we're also going to make a dip that's absolutely wonderful. And we're going to make another dish that is just fantastic. You know, a lot of times people say, how in the world are you ever going to have enough ideas? You're going to run out of stuff to cook. We're adventurous eaters. Every time we go out to eat, last night I had some duck.
Yeah.
And I started thinking, how did they do this? So I tried to break it down in my head. What are these tastes that I'm getting?
Right.
And I think I got it. We're
You wanted more, yes.
Yeah. We're going to experiment tonight because most of the time when you get duck in a restaurant, you get a tiny little hunk. So we're going to show you something with duck. Now, any of these recipes you can do, you can use alternate meats if you want. But there are places around where you can buy duck and rabbit and things like this. If you look and dig just a little bit, there are places you can go. All right, so wild game is the theme tonight. Where would we get some wild game?
I don't know.
Let me think. On our trout recipe, I don't know how many gabillion times I've been trout fishing.
You have?
I used to go out with Randall Gibson, and we caught some wonderful trout. Now, trout itself, I am not a huge fan, to tell you the truth.
See, I love it.
You love it.
Yeah, I really like it.
I'll tell you one way I do love it, and that is smoked. So not too long ago, not too long ago, we showed you how to smoke trout. Now you can buy trout anywhere in the store.
Right.
Or sometimes you can even buy smoked trout.
Right.
And take the whole step of doing this yourself out, buy you some smoked trout and you can make this dip we're gonna make. Here's the brine recipe, and here's the steps it takes to get some smoked trout, which we're gonna show you later. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 8 cups of water. That's our base. And we got 4 trout here. You can double this if you need to. They've been basically gutted, cut the heads off. You can leave the heads on them if you'd like. We're gonna take 3/4 cup kosher salt. We're gonna take 1/2 cup of brown sugar, 1/2 cup of white sugar, 2 tablespoons of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of black pepper, 1 tablespoon, you can go 1.5 tablespoons if you want, of your lemon pepper. And I'm gonna put in 1/2 cup of soy sauce. That gives a little more salt. So you're gonna mix that up, get your fish, drop those in there, and let those soak for about 6 to 8 hours. After they have brined, take them out and you let them dry. You might even want to put a fan on them. You can put them in the refrigerator for at least 30, 45 minutes. It almost looks like a little membrane over the top. It's called a pellicle. And that little membrane type thing lets it absorb more of the smoke flavor. So you want to let that dry. 200 to 225 degrees, depending on how much time you have, 2 to 4 hours. All right, you'll notice I'm not doing this on a real high heat.
It smells really good.
And this is why if you'll hold this up here,
Okay.
I'm gonna dip these into here. You see where we're going?
I do. We'll
You
just
like
set these
where we're
aside.
going?
I do. It smells good.
Put a little olive oil in here, my grandfather called it. Now we're gonna take some flour with a little salt, a little pepper,
It's your dipper.
and we're just gonna lightly, I mean lightly, dip this rabbit in here, lightly. We're gonna get this brown. What do I wanna do here? We may save some, tell you what let's do. Let's for sure do the legs.
The best part. The legs are always the best.
Oh, let's lay that. We're gonna get these nice and brown and start the cooking process.
You know, Mom said when they were little, when their dad would get a rabbit, he always brought it in. He'd freeze it, cut the pieces, and they'd sneak in and take the legs out and cook them. And he'd go to cook his rabbit, and there were no legs left. Yes, because everyone liked to fry a leg up.
Did anybody get in trouble?
And Helen got in trouble. The legs are the best.
And just a little bit of flour. And I'm not going crazy here with my temperature. There's a 3-legged rabbit. Nope, there's his other one. Let's go with just legs and that
That
front
sounds good to
shoulder
me.
tonight.
Yeah,
Oh, Mrs. Farmer,
Yummy.
I know you're gonna like this.
I love rabbit.
So as you graduate your cooking skills in life, you'll remember a recipe that you did and say, ooh, we did this thing with mustard and we did it with beer and we did it with this and that. And you think, how would that translate to such? That's how you kind of learn. Now, Kelly really liked a roast we did, a venison roast that I did with beer. Gives it that nice yeasty flavor, and mustard. So I thought, okay. Now, we've done our rabbit almost just like this. You remember the times that we've done this and we put sour cream and onions
Mushroom
in it?
soup.
Then you put it in the oven.
Yeah.
Anybody can do that, and that's good. But we're going a little step further tonight. We're going to kind of mimic that flavor profile. And again, we're not trying to
Smells
cook
good.
it to death here. We do want to brown it, though. So now, you folks out there that are saying, ew, that's rabbit. If you tried rabbit a long time ago and it wasn't good, you may want to try it again, because guess what happens when you get a little older? Your tastes change. Don't limit yourself to 1 or 2 things.
Right.
Be adventurous. I remember certain times in my life I hated beets.
Now you
Couldn't
love
eat
them.
them. I love beets.
You love them.
You ever remember something that you didn't like that you like now?
Yeah.
What?
Well, actually, no, because I've loved everything. I don't think there's anything I haven't liked, to be honest with you.
Yes, there is.
What is it?
You would not eat raw oysters.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Uh-huh.
And I love. I
And
can't
guess
eat.
what happened?
That's the only way I can eat them now.
Guess what happened? And you completely changed, and now you don't need a cracker. You don't
want
need anything on them. You just absolutely
I
love
want to taste them. A little bit of lemon. You're right.
You absolutely love your
So I've always
oysters.
kind of liked them, but I changed how I eat them because of you.
So, be adventurous. Don't be one of those people saying, ew. There's nothing worse than somebody who says, ew,
Yeah.
E-W-W-W-W-W.
That's right.
I want to talk to them and say, please try this.
Yeah.
Now, if it's chicken feet, I can kind of understand that.
Yeah,
There's some things that are just visually, but look at this. Look at this
Yeah.
beautiful meat. Is there anything that looks anything different from chicken or
No.
anything else?
And it smells amazing.
It's absolutely wonderful. We're going to set this aside
Okay.
just for a second. I'm going to set this over here. So, what are we going to do? Deglaze?
What's that? Chardonnay?
Chardonnay. So we're going to get all those little scrapies off the bottom.
It smells good.
Plus we need that for taste.
Yeah.
Now, how many dishes have you seen us do that has white wine, lemon, cream, and chicken broth? There's a lot of things that really, and that's where you kind of come in and say, okay, that worked over here. How would it work over here? Well, in this case, it works really well. So let's see now. If you'll take my shallots, dump them back in.
We'll do it.
See where we're going?
I do.
Our oven is preheating to 300. So if you'd like to take that bacon, let's just dump everything in here, including the bacon grease, because we get that salt, we get that hickory flavor. And let's just leave the remaining grease in there because I'll need that for something later.
Wow.
So, Mrs. Farmer,
Oh, that's.
do you see
I can
where
eat
we're
that
going?
now. Yes, I
now
do.
Let's take this,
Back
put it
in.
back in here. There you go. Now what are we going to do? Oh, let's take some chicken stock.
Yum.
We'll put about a cup of that in there. We might end up doing a little bit more because these rib cage pieces are sticking out a little bit larger than normal. Let's go a half a cup of cream.
Oh, good. Cream. Yum.
And mustard. Have to think
On
about
each
that.
piece. Now you put
I'm
some
gonna
in
put that in here.
with your venison.
Yes.
My grandmother put with her pork chops.
Yes. That's at least 2 tablespoons.
Yummy.
Now, if you don't like mustard by itself, a lot of people don't,
Yeah.
try it in some recipes.
Because you won't taste it. This just adds
I would
to it.
love to hear some feedback. I would love to hear stories. I would absolutely love, with our interactive social media that we have today, I would love to hear stories of folks that watch our show or have just tried something and they have changed their tastes.
Yeah.
If that has happened to you, I want to know about it on our social media. And by the way, if you want to be our Facebook friend, it's really hard to do.
It is difficult.
How do you
You
do
hit
it?
like.
Hit like. We want you over there. We want you to join us. We want you to talk with us after the show's over. Okay, so since this is rabbit, oh, you know what we need, Ms. Farmer? I need you to squeeze some garlic in here.
Okay.
I'm gonna put a little more salt, a little more pepper on here. And I'm gonna take some thyme, because it is rabbit, you know.
That's right.
We'll fish those out later. I'm gonna take some dried thyme. I'm gonna put over top of this. Now, after this has been in the oven for maybe an hour, I'm gonna turn these over. So we have taken 2 cloves of garlic and put in here, and we're gonna just coat this a little bit. Mustard. So, what do you think, Mrs. Farmer?
I'm starving.
300 degrees, a couple hours. Now we're going to check it in 1 hour and see where we want that meat falling off the bone.
Right.
Now as the juices cook into that, All right, let's put the top on this.
Ready?
Pop that in the oven. Now, if you want to really impress some guests, I mean really, really impress some guests and have something absolutely wonderful, let's go back. Look at this video. Here's us smoking trout. I love smoked trout.
Yes, you do.
My favorite way to eat trout. Now, we're going to take 2 sides right here. We're going to take the skin off. We're going to make sure there's no little bones in here in the rib cage. So just feel through that as you're going through that and just kind of, we're going to take this off. We're just going to cut it up in real small pieces. So here's what we're going to do, Mrs. Farmer.
Okay.
We're going to take 4 ounces of cream cheese. Now I'm going to come back with my yogurt.
And you could use sour cream.
You could use sour
Some people
cream.
use mayonnaise.
You can use mayonnaise.
Whatever you like.
Now what I'm going to do, Mrs. Farmer,
All
I'm
right.
going to take me some pepper.
Gotta hit pepper.
Take a little bit of salt, a little bit of cayenne.
Okay.
I'm not going to go too strong here.
Just a little bit.
But all these added mixtures of flavor. I'm going to do a little horseradish.
I love horseradish.
This brings a little heat
Yeah.
in, a little interesting flavor. We're going to do about a heaping teaspoon of that. Now you could use regular onions if you wanted to, but I'm going to save your eyes.
Thank you,
And I'm going
'cause
to
it
go with
makes me
some
cry.
minced onions.
I like that.
Minced
Easier.
onions have a good flavor.
Yeah, they do.
And I'm going to put probably, and for dips, they really have a good flavor
They work
too.
good for dips, yeah.
So let's put maybe a tablespoon in here. Then we're going to sample this. We're going to taste it once we mix it up.
All right.
We'll put some parsley in here.
Yummy.
At the very end, I'm going to put just a little bit of lemon in here.
Okay.
So we're going to get this all mixed up. Now, Mrs. Farmer, we have some fresh chives over here.
Okay. How's it smell?
yeah.
Can I take a taste?
Yes, you can.
That's good.
And we haven't got the fish in there yet.
That's really good. So just little pieces.
Small as you can cut them.
All right.
All right, let's pop those in here. Oh, it's going to be good.
It's kind of like my salmon pate, isn't it?
Now, if you will, Miss Farmer, let's get that off the skin. Check for
Right.
bones.
Do it.
Let's make sure nobody gets choked.
Let's give you some little pieces here to throw in.
All right, so we're gonna take this fish, put it in here. I'm gonna go ahead and mix that up. All right, let's push that down in there. Some
All right.
hunks that need to be pushed down in there, if you will.
All right.
Now, give that lemon a whack there, if you will, Miss Farmer.
Perfect.
Roll it on my
I love
fingers
it.
a little bit. Watch out for the seeds. That back on. Mrs. Farmer,
Let me dip for you.
if you'll take that out and put it in that little bowl, we're gonna chill that for about an hour,
It's so good.
and that will be our appetizer.
Alrighty.
Yeah, I'm gonna shake this up just a little bit. There are so many wonderful things out there that you get at a restaurant and think, I couldn't possibly bring that home and do it myself. Oh, yes, you can.
It tastes better when you do it yourself.
Every
sometimes.
place we went in the Keys, and you know, some people had smoked mullet, some people had smoked trout. We tried all the dips, but I thought, you know what? Ooh,
Smoked
each little
fish dip.
place was a little different. Somebody might have had a little horseradish.
Yeah.
Somebody tried something a little different. We're gonna pretty that up. Parsley on top. And Miss Farmer, if you'll place that in the refrigerator,
I'll do it.
we're good to go. Then we'll clean up and be right back. All right, let's look at duck meat. That looks darker, doesn't it?
It does. It looks good though.
That's a muscle meat. When you think about
Okay.
cooking duck or goose, you
Yeah.
think more like a steak.
Yeah.
You think about ducks, they fly, they use that muscle. On top, they get some fat. If it's a domestic duck, they have a lot of fat. That's the most wonderful fat in the
Oh,
world.
yeah.
We'll talk about that later. But think about this more as a steak.
Okay.
If you want to cook that medium, I want a little pink in the middle of that. And I season it like that. Salt, pepper, garlic. I'm going to do a quick marinade. That's going to suck up the saltiness of this balsamic vinegar over here. I'm going to take this, season it, and then turn it fat side up into a quality balsamic vinegar. And you want to let that set for at least a half an hour. Now, if you want to put it in the refrigerator and let it go a couple hours, you got something else going on, that's
Yeah.
fine. What are we going to do on the top? We're going to season that as well. Salt, pepper, and garlic. Now, people say, I've never had duck that I liked. Try it like this.
That's good.
Try it like this. Let that set for a half hour. We get some green beans going, and we have some wild rice going that we're going to present with us. Now, this would be a nice appetizer.
Yeah.
Now,
Everything's
for
appetizer.
us, this is going to be almost
That's
a meal.
That's a lot of meat.
But think about what we have tonight. We have our trout dip, smoked trout dip, which we're going to try in a little while. That'll get us ready for our duck,
Okay.
and then we'll really be hungry for our rabbit,
That's right. That's good stuff. That's all good stuff.
All right, so let's let this go, and we'll be right back in a minute. So our duck has been soaking. I'm just going to score this. I'm going to cut into the skin, but not all the way through. So, Mrs. Farmer, what kind of fat do you think I'm going to use? to
Duck
cook this?
fat.
Rendered
favorite.
duck fat. What should we cook the duck in?
Duck fat.
You can buy this. It's becoming more and more available. And let me tell you what. Years ago, we were at a restaurant, and somebody took just some little regular potatoes, left the skins on, and they cut them about that thick, and they brought them to our table. Were they not magic?
Yeah.
And we asked them, I said, what'd you cook them? And they said,
Duck fat.
rendered duck fat.
And recently we had some fries in duck fat. They were thin. They were the best ever.
You know, the great thing about cooking any kind of duck is that crispy skin.
Yeah.
You know, when we cook an orange duck and it gets just
We
right.
fight over the skin. Yeah.
All right, so I'm not going to get this sizzling hot, and you don't want to cook it to death. You want it to be pink in the middle.
Oh yeah.
So that's what we're going to do here.
Need to bring it close for you.
You know what? You can sit it right up here. Now, you remember earlier we had bacon in this?
You left.
You think bacon would hurt the flavor?
No.
No, it won't hurt it at all. Now, I'm not going to marinate the other side.
Okay.
And I'm going to put these in fat side down. Now remember, it's only going to take probably 5 minutes to get that nice and crispy.
You want the lid on there?
Yep, let's put the lid on.
Oh wow.
Oh.
That's good.
Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at that.
That was so good.
right, Mrs. Farmer.
That smells and looks so good. I can't wait. Now you scored that. Why did you do that at the beginning? You were cutting the meat, scored on the fat?
Well, you know, I'm cooking this in rendered duck fat.
Okay.
Now, some people would say it's probably too much fat. But if you didn't have any fat at all in here, it would help render that fat out.
Okay.
Now, you want to keep this fat for whatever reason.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing about duck fat is it's kind of like bacon grease. If you strain it and take care of it, you can reuse it.
Now, can we cook our potatoes in that?
Yes,
Oh, okay,
that's
that sounds
the
good.
plan.
All right.
So there we go. We're gonna let this
Wow.
rest for a minute.
That looks so good.
Oh my!
Wow.
Look at that. Now, Mrs. Farmer, we're gonna let that rest for just a minute. Then we're gonna slice it real thin. We're gonna present that over a bed of rice.
Oh, wow.
A couple green beans. That's our snack.
That's our snack?
That's our
All
snack.
right. Looking forward to the snack.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm excited. Really excited. Wow. That's my new favorite meal. I'm serious. That is, I can't even describe how that tastes.
I'll tell you what this tastes like what I had last night.
Oh my goodness.
But last night I got 2 pieces.
I know it. This is good.
And I said, you know what? We can do better than them. Let
That's
me tell you
really
what.
good. Yeah, did
It's been a while since I've had this, since I made this.
I'm gonna want it all the time.
So simple. Balsamic vinegar. Last time I did it was wild duck. This
Yeah.
is domestic duck. But you got to be really careful. You got to make sure you get it brown. You got to make sure you have some pink. Now, some people like it more rare than this.
Yeah.
This
That's
is
amazing.
beautiful, is it not? We're going to turn the cameras off and devour this. Guess what? We got another one over here.
Okay, we eat that later.
Yeah.
Yay.
Dig in, Miss Farmer. Let's see what
That
you
looks
think
really
about
good.
that. See how that's thickened up?
That's really good. Always good. You can't, that's wonderful.
Taste the horseradish in there.
I like it a lot.
All right, we'll save that for later.
Okay,
Next,
let's eat again.
rabbit.
I want rabbit.
Now I'm just taking my potatoes and setting them in here in this nice hot duck fat.
Sounds yummy.
And we don't need a whole lot because we've had enough food
I think
for
we've eaten
26
enough.
people
Yeah, but I
tonight.
could eat some more potatoes.
I know, you love potatoes.
I do.
So once I get them in here, I'll put a little salt and a little pepper on them. And I want them to be evenly brown. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the rabbit out.
Okay.
We're gonna set the rabbit aside, then we're gonna reduce those liquids down. Now see, I've got that on a high temperature. You see all the little
It's-
reduction
yes.
bubbles, we like to call them?
Get nice and thick. I like it.
Oh, now I'm gonna bring that temperature down a little bit because we're almost ready. Look at those potatoes, Mrs. Farmer.
I am ready.
So I'm gonna take these potatoes, drain them off on a paper towel.
Okay,
We're gonna plate this thing up, pour some juice over everything, and boom, we're good to go. Be right back.
I'm ready.
Okay, you heard people say rabbit's tough.
Yeah,
When I picked this up, Nikki,
just fell apart.
everything was falling apart. I had to be, look at this. Look, I'm barely touching it.
You
Look
were
at-
feeding me good tonight. Can I
get the
try
first
it? Oh
bite.
my word.
You know what? We've been doing like 3 recipes for show. You're getting your money's worth, folks.
That is good too. This is like almost my favorite recipe too.
Like restaurant
Oh, wow.
type stuff.
Oh, you don't get it this good in a restaurant. That's good. I want one of your potatoes too. Like potato chip.
That's my favorite rabbit dish.
Oh, the potatoes are good. They're crunchy.
You hear the crunch? I love to pick these
Oh
up.
wow, those are really
They're
good.
almost like a chip.
I'll dip them in your sauce. Oh, this is really good too.
Now look at the color of that meat. Look how white and tender that is. Just falls off the bone.
It's right up there with #1. I don't know which one I like best, to be honest with you.
That was the most delicious rabbit
That's
I've
so
had in a
good.
long time. Potatoes are beautiful. I don't know how you get any better potatoes
You
than
can't.
that.
Those were really good too.
Mrs. Farmer, here's the scary part though.
This is my favorite part.
Our half hour's up.
Oh,
What happened?
Yeah.
So, if you want to find some of these recipes, where would you go, Mrs. Farmer?
I go to timfarmerscountrykitchen.com.
There's all kinds of recipes on there from everything in the world. And we also have how to build a smokehouse,
Right.
how to make sausages, how to cure a ham, so on and
Yeah.
so forth. Also, we really do want you to be our Facebook friend. And it's so difficult.
It really is.
It's intense.
It is intense.
Because there's so many steps. What do you have to do, Ms. Farmer?
I saw someone, was it last night we were out and they said they hit like. Everybody
They
knows,
saw
hit
you.
like. They said you hit like.
Hit
That's right.
like. We'll talk about recipes.
That's right.
We'll talk about life. But now, we've got to say goodbye because this is not going to get any better or any warmer
I
than it
can't
is right
wait
now.
to eat this.
Ms. Farmer, it's all about
Good times.
good friends.
You're really good. Eat. You outdid yourself.
We'll see you next week on a brand new Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen.
Yum.
Let's ciao. We have been catering for a lot of years, and I wanted everything to have a specific taste. Therefore, I had to come up with my own products.
Right.
A dry rub, chow chow, and our barbecue sauce are something that we use in all our catering gigs. I developed this barbecue sauce that is not the really thick, syrupy stuff that you get. This has more of a natural, it's got some pepper and onion flavor in it. You can actually see the particulates in there. You know, a lot of people are asking what we use our dry rub on. Now, obviously, pork and chicken are two of the more common things. Also, we've been using on our corn on the cob with butter.
That is.
I'm telling you, this
That's
stuff
wonderful.
with potatoes is fantastic. So 40 years in the making, Tim Farmer's Country Kitchen Dry Rub.